The American Revolution is what got us this great nation we live in today. It all started with the British being afraid of America, apparently for good reason. So they went to take away the guns and arms of the American people. This was a mistake. The American people rose up and attacked the British, getting them way out of town. A month later, this was a full-fledged war. The Americans went to siege Fort Ticonderoga in order to gain cannons and useful supplies for the war. It was very, very badly manned, because the British didn't know what to expect. And America soundly won that battle, and got some cannons for later on. Next came the Battle of Bunker Hill, which actually happened on Breed's Hill. I'm not sure how that got mixed up, but it was a very, very small defense of Americans versus a huge British force and their warships. I would like to say there was a miraculous victory on the American side. Sadly, there wasn't, and America lost many, many good men that day. Luckily, though, we did have a pretty good comeback. The British were all in Boston, and we didn't want them there. So, we brought those cannons from Fort Ticonderoga across mountains and rivers all the way to Boston, and in the night surrounded them, and pointed all these cannons at the British warships. When the British woke, they weren't very eager to fight. On the Christmas of 1776, it didn't seem like there was much to celebrate. America was losing an uphill battle. They needed something to remotivate them. Luckily, General Washington had a plan. He brought a small American force across the Delaware River through the ice over to the shores of Trenton, New Jersey. The British were celebrating Christmas and getting drunk. They didn't expect anything. Not one American soldier was killed, and tons of prisoners were taken from the British, and many of the British soldiers were killed in that battle. This was a sound victory for America. America had a pretty good amount of victories after that, but none as great as the Battle of Saratoga, in which America crushed the British forces and got General Burgoyne to surrender. This was a turning point for the whole war, in which America became quite a force to be reckoned with. But then came Valley Forge. If we were to put this to the hero cycle, Valley Forge would be in the abyss. It was a dark time. It was cold. The American soldiers were hungry and had to winter in a terrible place. This was probably the hardest time for the American Revolution. But after America got out of it and survived that winter, the soldiers who were still there became an amazing army. Not a group of soldiers, an army, a force, and a unified nation. Then came the Southern Wars. In these, the newly invigorated American army and the great British forces chased each other around the South. Luckily, America was strong enough to weather all of these wars and held their own very, very well. Britain slowly retreated up north, and America chased them up there. And eventually, it all culminated in Yorktown. On September 15th there, the French sieged the British and started bombarding their small forts they had set up, and the British couldn't go anywhere because the Americans had blocked them off. The British had nowhere to go and nothing to do. The Americans had won. The Treaty of Paris was signed, and the British forces left America. This was the day America became a nation. This was the day America became free. Thank you for watching. I had to get 2 paintings off the internet, and here they are up here. And below is a link to a website in which I used to figure out the timelining for the American Revolution.